are back at it again. We're back, my friends. So your boy, I've been off. I've been off for a few weeks. I believe that the last show was the Halloween TAO, right? So that was I believe that was our last show. So that means that I would have been off for since November, right?
Let me introduce you to Bo Miles, a unique and likable guy. Everyday life, friends and family makes up the artist's dream.
So I took off November, and what happened in that time? Just a quick update is that I picked up another job, right? So I started working 2 jobs, and that's going good, you know. But I needed time to adjust to the schedule, so now I'm just trying to get everything back, start back with the programming. Start back with the coding, start back with the podcast, and, you know, just get back to everything, right? So I had to expand. Your boy had to expand for the holidays. And I got a good idea. I got a good idea, not just the extra money that I'm grateful for, right? You get to work more hours, but I got an idea to make extra money, right? But this is a Christmas idea, a Christmas holiday idea. So I'm going to implement this idea next Christmas, but I'm gonna start all of the pieces. I'm gonna start all of the pieces now, right? So I'm gonna start all of the pieces now. And then, you know, and start to really mold and be ready for the wave next year, right? Now, for a year, I want to say for about a year. So this whole year, I've been playing the lottery, right? And I don't play just because I want to win and I want to change my life, but I look at it like somebody has to win. So why not me? Right? Like, that's the way that I look at it. Like, somebody has to win. Because when you look at people and they usually like, you know, you got a better chance of getting struck by lightning. You got this and you got that. So why even do it? Right? But really, we could say that about everything. We could say that about everything that you get, all of the wins that you get. We can always say that you have a better chance, or someone else has a better chance of getting it, right? So don't do it. But we really only use it for the lottery, right? Now, what I'm doing now, right? Because this whole year of 2022, I have been just doing quick picks, letting the computer generate my numbers, but starting, I want to say it was maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. So I wrote out the whole year pretty much with doing quick picks. So I might even continue so that next year, but the only thing is I believe in when you change, you have to change at that moment, right? So I was going to ride out the year, but then I had this idea, and the idea was it's so easy to extend your fate and extend chance and probability to someone else. In this case, we're talking about the computer, right? It's so easy for me to say, oh, the computer can generate it, because really I don't really expect to win. Like, that's not really why I'm playing. I'm not playing to win, for say, like, oh, I need this. Oh, please let me. Nah. Look, I'm going to win if I'm going to win, but it doesn't matter. But now the idea is like, yo, Bo, You have to believe in yourself, right? So now I'm using these numbers. I'm using the lottery as a way to condition myself to believe in myself, to say, like, I'm going to select these winning numbers, not the computer. So okay. So if the computer lost this whole year, and when we say lost, we mean that we didn't hit the jackpot. Now, I will tell a story about a win that I lost because I did win, right? We did win. We sick, boss. We sick. Now, I did win, and I am going to speak on that. But before that, I just want to say that, like, yo, I have to take charge and command. I just can't say, well, the computer picks better random numbers than me. I can never pick the right numbers. Only the computer can do this. So let me not think and just let the computer do it, right? So if we say, okay, now you've lost this whole year trusting in the computer. How about you lose the whole year? How about you lose the whole next year trusting in yourself? So as we're getting ready for this new year, as we're getting ready for our resolutions, right? How about a resolution be, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to believe in myself, whether it's picking numbers, whether it's executing ideas, right? Like, yo, I'm going to believe in myself. Like, who better than me? If somebody got to do it, how come I can't do it? Right? So that's the whole idea. Now, I picked up a ticket. This is very early, right? I was very green in the game. Okay. Like I said, I just started, this year. Now I went to a gas station. It's in, it was in South Carolina, and I went to check the numbers, right? So I had several tickets, and I gave it to the, I gave it to the guy. So he would, put it in front of his scanner. And it would ding, and if you won, it made like a right? It made some type of sound, some type of music to let you know that you won. So I did that, and he's going through and I want to say that he even said, like, maybe $2. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. I don't want to say that it said how much you won, but I just felt like maybe on the screen or something it was telling you, right? So he got to one ticket, and it scanned as a winner, but it didn't. But the amount didn't flash up on the screen, or like I wasn't privy to the amount, and he scanned it again, right? So he scanned it one time. It showed that this ticket was a winning ticket. Then he went and scanned it again, right? Because that amount, it was like that amount, he couldn't pull it out of the register, right? So each time it was just kind of letting you know. But this one ticket, he scanned it like two or three times, right? And it didn't allow him to take it out of the register. So, like I said, me being green, I just kind of took his word at it. He's like, something's wrong. I don't, like, for the most part, something's wrong with the ticket, or it's not letting me take anything out, right? So at that point, I was supposed to be like, yo, all right, well, just give me the ticket, right? Give me the ticket back. But I didn't say give me the ticket back. So I don't know what he did with the ticket, but what I do know is that when you win over $500, the store doesn't cash you out. You have to take it to the board of the lottery in the state that you're in. Now, just looking at the winnings and how the numbers play, you either, so I don't know how much I won, but I either won 1,000 or 50,000, one or the other, right? I either won 1,000 or 50,000. Now with 1,000, I'm like, look, I mean, I got somebody I can get that to, right? 50,000, even after taxes and whatever they're going to take out of it, like, yo, all right, I'm good. So I won, but at the same time I lost. But I won in knowledge, because from that point on, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna just go to a scanner and check these tickets myself, right? Because I felt like I won. Like I felt like yo, this was a moment, right? I could feel it, but I didn't do anything. I didn't see anything. But as a learning moment, I knew, like, yo, all right, I'm just gonna check this. I'm gonna check this stuff myself. So, and from that point on, I've been going places only where I can check the ticket myself, right? And it's like, all right, boom. So that's the first correction, right? And it's always about lose. Like, that's how I do in everything. I always lose, but I learn from those losses. And sometimes I get back up the bat, and sometimes I don't. But the thing is that I'm not leaving things up to someone else. Some other entity can pick something. Some other entity can do something better than I can. No, I can. And if I can't, then that's fine. But at least I'm putting myself, and I'm putting my vision, I'm putting my ideas out there. So that's it's not even a resolution, but that's the declaration. And it's kind of like when I started jujitsu years ago. When I started, it was, I just had the thought. It was in like October. It was probably like in October or November when I had the idea, and I was like, I'm going to start in January, right? But I went back and I remembered Dr. Ngenge. That was one of my mentors, and I would say, just from my college years, because he was a college professor, he was he really nurtured and cultivated who I am and who I would become, right? And one of the most important things that stuck with me, because he said a lot of stuff. Dr. Ngenge, he said a lot of important things, but one of the things that really stuck with me was, if you are going to change, if you're going to do something, you need to do it now. You need to, if you're going to change something about yourself, if you're going to do something, you need to do it now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait next week, because if you wait, then you'll never do it. So that's something that stuck with me. And I'm like, yo, that's what I need to do. So when I first told myself, all right, in January, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to go down to Butch Howe's Jiu-Jitsu in Charleston. I'm going to go down there. I believe it's 410 Summer Street. And in January, I'm going to pick it back. Well, at that point, it was like, I'm going to start. And then I remember what Dr. Ngenge said, and I said to myself, nah, we going today. Like, yo, today. Like, yeah, we going down there today. And I went down there just to look. I just got to go there. I just got to go down there. And the rest was history. And I'm like, yo. So all big decisions that I make, I always keep that message from Dr. Ngenge. I always keep that. We're going to start now. We're going to start today, as soon as ASAP. So that's that. I'm like, yo, I'm going to, so instead of January, when I start picking my own numbers and believing in my numbers, believing in myself, no, we're going to start now. We're going to start today. And like I said, it's not even about winning per se, right? If I win, that's great. But if I lose, at least I believed in myself, right? So that's really what I'm trying to cultivate, is a belief in self, and trying to purge all of those things that I don't believe, or things that take away from belief in myself. I want to purge all of those things out of me. Now, you guys know that I'm starting to study coding. So eventually, because right now I'm about to go to JavaScript. So we're going to do JavaScript, and then after JavaScript, then we'll do like React. So we have a few things, but eventually we're going to get to Python. And once we get to Python, I'm going to create bots for myself, right? So AI is not, look, that's not the problem. I'm not saying that that picking quick picks, and because you got to do whatever you feel is good for you, right? So once we get to Python and I learn how to create these bots, I'm going to create bots that'll tweet for me throughout the day. So let's say it's going to tweet every hour, right? So it'll do 24 tweets a day, indefinitely. So if that's the idea, it's not saying that, oh, I don't believe in me actually being able to, nah, it's not about that, because there I need to be tweeting every day, and I don't physically have the capacity and the time because to put together the image and the tweets, even though it's just copy and paste, right? I can delegate that to this bot, right? So whenever you want to delegate, go right ahead. So even if you want to delegate the numbers, look, I'm going to focus on other things, but I'm going to have this computer pick it, right? So that's fine. But in my case, I'm just trying to purge out that belief because I felt like I can't pick the numbers. Oh man, I'm not picking the right numbers. I'm not right. I want to keep challenging that, because I have this idea when I go to pick, it's so much easier to let the computer do it, right? But I want to challenge that. So that's why I'm picking, but I just want to say that AI and any assistant, if you hire someone to do a job for you, that's not you saying that you can't do the job or that person can't do the job better than you, right? So I'm not against that. Look, if I had someone who could do the editing for me for my podcast and my videos, then boom, I would definitely hand it over and let them do it, right? Like, that wouldn't even be an issue. I would most definitely do that, and eventually, hopefully, one day we will get to that point, right? One day we'll get to a point where we're not doing everything, but until then, look, I gotta do it. So with the podcast is going to continue, and my reactions, I'm going to start doing so I'm going to start doing those videos on the Artistry of Podcast YouTube page, right? So will still come out. This is still going to be weekly. Now I'm just trying to figure out like what time, what day. So I'm recording this on Sunday, and it's going to post on Wednesday. So you guys will hear it Wednesday, but I actually recorded it on Sunday. And what I used to do was I used to record on Wednesday and then upload it on Wednesday. So that's the way that it used to go. But now I'm recording. Today is Sunday the 4th, and it's going to come out on Wednesday. So what is Wednesday? Wednesday is the 7th. And I have some music. I've been working on so much stuff, right, in these past few weeks. The Marvelous Adventures of Robert James, that album came out, and then my Spanish or Latin inspired album Cora B, that album came out, and you can just search Bo Miles in Spotify or Apple Music. So wherever you listen to music, you can search Bo Miles, and my music, my catalog will come up, right? So since Happy Halloween or Halloween Town, I've released 2 more albums, and I have a 3rd album coming, and I'm going to queue up the 4th album I'm going to have to do that today as well. So that's going to come out. It'll probably be in the middle of December or before Christmas. I've started a blog. So, I got different things going on, and it's like, okay, just keep pushing, keep working, right? We have to understand music and fans, because it's like, yo, you can sell. In my case, I'm not even trying to actually sell my music. I'm just trying to get people to listen to my music, right? But it can be done. Now, how it's going to be done, we do know right now is getting on a playlist, right? If I can get on a poppin' playlist, some successful playlist, then I can be in position to get heard, even if they skip it. I don't know if they just listen to it. Look, this is the playlist. We're just gonna listen. So that's one way, but that's not the only way. And that's one of the things that I know just about myself, is that, look, I don't win the way that everyone else wins. And it's always, by the time people are making videos about it, it's outdated. So if the videos are telling you got to get on playlists, this is how you get on the playlist. Hey, message some people and send them your music, right? Which I can do, but if 1,000 people are doing it, then I'm just going to get lost in the shuffle there, right? So I have an idea, and the first part of my idea is up. It's up and running, but it's going to take some time, right? It's going to take some time, but the whole thing is, look, you just keep building. You just keep building and keep believing, right? So if it's like, all right, man, what am I going to do now? And that's where we just have to trade time for money. So like I said, I picked up 2 jobs. I'm taking care of my financial responsibilities, and it's like, all right, let's carve out some time so that we can prepare for the future, right? Prepare for the coding, prepare for creating models within the coding, right? Prepare for eventually getting a job in coding, or just being in that world. We have the music, so we have a whole bunch of assets right now that we're building. So we're building up all of these little small assets, and it's like, okay, but ultimately we're being held back by traffic. If I had 1 million views to whatever the product was, if I just had people just seeing the product, whether it's the music, it's the books, it's whatever I offer, if I had 1 million people seeing this, then I would be in perfect shape. But I don't. And until I understand and learn, okay, how can I get in front of people? So we know with like Google Ads, right? Google Ads is one. Google search engine is another. YouTube is one. TikTok is one. So we have different ways that we can kind of get in front of people, right? So we need Facebook. So we have ways to get in front of people. All right, so now we need to do that. We have Twitter, right? So all of these things, we got to be firing on all cylinders. So that's where I'm at. I'm doing that, and I'm just pushing and getting ready, and just trying to look. You just have to believe, right? So that's that. Let's see what else we got going on. This has just been a recap. This has been our 20-minute recap of what's been going on. So I picked up another job. We got some music out. We got some music coming. And the one that's coming is called Cyber Runner. And this album, this work I'm the most proud of, because it doesn't sound like anything that you would normally hear, right? And it's along the line of when I said, look, I'm just going to treat music like a painting. That's how I'm going to treat the music, just like a painting. And so that's where we are. with the music, and that's all of the music that I'm putting out. It's not to be commercially successful. That's not what I want. I just want to be able to create a body of work that all fits in a space and is consistent. So far, that's what I've been doing. And I've been blasting it on Twitter. I've been doing that once a day. But today I just started up to where I'm doing twice a day. And like I said, once I create that bot, or I can even look, but I'm not trying to pay. I'm not trying to pay some service. Hey, run these tweets for me. And I pay. No, because now I'm in the routine of helping someone else get rich. And I always check myself whenever I fall into that routine. I always check myself like, hey, you're in a routine of spending. You need to check yourself. Because I remember when I was, and this is going to kick off with the idea that I had, and that's lessons learned. And I might even name the podcast that lesson learned, because there's certain things in my life that really stands out. Just like how Dr. Nginge, when he said, if you're going to change, you need to change now. Like, don't wait. Don't put it off. Don't put off change. Don't put off this new you, whatever ideas, whatever resolution, whatever reset. Like, don't put off the new you. If you're going to change now. Change immediately. And that's, I think our brothers from, I don't know if it's the UK or if it's Australia, but they say immediately, whereas in the States we say immediately, right? So change immediately or immediately, right? Make that change now, ASAP. So I want, and I have to make these changes. Right now, the lessons learned are the things that just stand out in my life. Right. So we have that one. And then another one, this was, I was in college, and I'm not really, I believe that my kids were born. I don't think that it was before, but it could have even been before. So like right when I started playing at the church. But I found myself buying, like, it was like every week, or because back then, I mean, the internet shopping wasn't as prevalent. I'm sure some people were doing internet shopping, but it wasn't popping. It wasn't busting like it is now. So I just remember, I don't remember when, but I just remember seeing myself like constantly buying something. Like every 2 weeks, I'm constantly buying something. And I just said to myself, like, yo, you're in a season of buying. Like, come on. And I remember that clear to myself, and just was like, yo, and cause I was buying games, I was buying video games, and I was playing them. So it wasn't even like right now I got, or I would say maybe 5 to 6 years ago, I was buying games and wasn't even playing them. But during that time, like, I was playing them, but I was like, yo, like, I'm buying something every week. And I saw it like an addiction. It was an addiction to buy. It was an addiction to keep spending money. It was like I was self-medicating with buying something. And I just remember like, nah, man. So whatever it is that I want, like, nah, I'm not going to buy it. Because look, once you get into that type of cycle, into that season, it's always something that you want. It's always something that you want. You're like, someone is always selling something to you. Someone's always selling something to you. And you guys remember what my neighborhood bully used to say, like, yo, there's a sucker born every minute. Like, that was his thing. After he either took your money or got you or did whatever. Man, there's a sucker born every minute. That's what he would say. He would say that all the time. Shout out to the neighborhood bully Gerard. He wasn't my personal bully, but he was one of the main bullies in the neighborhood, and I remember just hanging out with him. So he was schooling me, teaching me the ways of of bullying people, which I never bullied anybody. So I'm proud and grateful to say that you're not gonna find someone who like, yeah, Bo used to bully me, and like I was never like that. So I'm proud to say that. But I remember these teachings from hanging out with the bullies, and that was one. There's a sucker born every minute, and just with the selling, and so someone's always selling something to you, and they make their advertising as attractive and as beautiful as possible to make you believe that this is the thing that you need, that you want, and you go and you get it, and you don't even use it, or you don't even use it that long. But now you're out of however much. If you're out of $20, you're out of $10, and before you know it, you only have like $10. You only have $10 in your bank account, right? So the season, you're in a buying season, right? So that's a lesson that I remember. Always just buying, right? And looking back, I'm saying like, yo, I've been in that season recently. Not too much, just because I'm kind of disciplined in the fact that all right, the bulk goes to the house, right? So that's there, and then we have credit card debt. So boom, we gotta send money towards the credit card debt, get the credit card debt down. So I'm aware of that, so I'm doing that, and then it's like, all right, so I have a couple dollars left, and all right, what are we gonna do, right? So I've been wanting the new God of War, so it's God of War Ragnarok. So I wanted that, but I'm like, no, man, like, yo, man, I'm not getting that. It's like $69, and I'm not gonna play it. Like, I'm not gonna play it, but I want it. And it's like, yo, but you brought the first one, the first God of War reimagining, or God of War 4, however they wanna label it, right? You brought that one, and you played it for a little bit, and then you set it down. I brought the Ghost of Tsushima. I brought that, played it for a little bit, set it down, right? So I was like, yo, Spider-Man. And I didn't buy Spider-Man when it first came out, only because I knew, right? But eventually I did buy it, but still. So it's like, look, man, I'm not even buying these games at $29.99. Like, yo, man, I need to buy these games when they're $9.99, or just don't buy them at all, right? Play the stuff that I have, use the stuff that I have, right? And it's like, even with podcasting equipment, so there's always something to buy. But when I constantly find myself buying something every time I have some money, then look, I'm caught in a buying season, and I need to check myself so I can look back and say like, yo, I've been in a buying season recently. So I need to check that. I need to change that. So that's something that comes to me, and I'm glad, because just talking with you guys, I'm acknowledging to myself that like, yo, Bo, you've been in that buying season, right? Like, that's my thing. It's not heroin. It's not crack, but it's just constantly spending and just giving my money away. And I need to check that. Like, yo, man, you can't be doing that, because only thing you're doing is you're just self-medicating. In my case, right? Everyone else, you guys have your own thing, whatever that thing is. But no matter what the thing is, what we're doing is we're addressing an area in our life. And I just want to be careful. I'm not trying to say depression, because that's just like a front for something, right? But it's like with the vision that I'm getting, because if I want to use, I don't want to use the D word, right? That is real, and if you guys are feeling it, I do accept that, and I do want to acknowledge that. And you should address it and acknowledge it too. But for me, I want to say that it's not, if we go beyond the wall, right? I would say that I'm not where I want to be. Right? So once we get past the D wall, it's because I'm not where I want to be. Now, okay, Bo, where do you want to be? I want to be making like $1,000 a day. That's where I want to be. I want to be making at least, right? So I want to be well ahead of what I need. I want to be in front of expenses as opposed to being behind expenses. I want to be in front of expenses. I want to be a year, 2-3 years ahead of expenses. Boom, these are the expenses for the year. Okay, what do we have for next year? Right? So like that's where I want to be, and because I'm not there, then I'm self-medicating by buying all of this shit, by just being frivolous with my money, right? So that's why I have to stop. I have to address that because if I'm addressing it with buying, then I'll never address the true source of the problem. And the problem is just feeling that I'm behind my expenses. I don't want to be behind my expenses. I want to be in front of my expenses. So that's what I need to be addressing. So in my case, like that's what I need to be thinking about. I need to put it on my phone. So when I look at my phone right now, it has my weight and this is just to bring awareness to like, yo, you need to focus on your eating habits, right? You need to focus on your eating. Like, yo, this is how much you weighed the last time. Right? So I need to hop on the scale probably tomorrow and then update that picture with update my picture with the new weight, whatever that may be, whether it's up or down, but so that it's in, if that's what I want to focus on, yo, you need to be focusing on your habits, right? You're a little reckless with the habits. So that's one lesson learned. Or I could say learned, even if I'm not doing it all the time, but it's still I know it, right? So that's one thing I need to pull closer. It needs to be in my night sky. If you think about the sun and the moon, you never forget about the sun and the moon because it's in the sky at least once a day. And for the moon, we can say that it's in the sky out of 30 days. I think the moon may be gone for, just no matter where you are, when you look up, probably the moon will be gone. I'm just going to say 3 to 4 times, right? I'm sure that there is a number and we can actually figure it out. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and see. Let's see. Moon cycles. Full moon. I know they have like a lunar calendar. Let's see what this is about. So this tells us we got the first quarter, and it's half. And then we have a full moon. And then we have the third quarter. And then we have a new moon. So what I'm guessing that this new moon, that's when you can't see it. Then we just need to see when does it come back to that first quarter, right? And then there's also words like waxing and there's here, let's look at this and see. What is this? save the photos, and then we go to our camera roll, and then this way we can see it. All right, there we go. So we have new moon, then we have waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning, then it wanes, right? Then it starts to go to where you can't see it as much. So the new moon phase is when you can't see it, right? Now, let's see how many days is the new moon, because this is important for how long we can allow something to not be as visible in our thoughts. So, how many days do we have a new moon? All right, let's see what happens. What does it say? All right, so it takes our moon 29.5 days to complete one cycle of a phase from new moon to new moon. So, like I said about, what did I say? 3? I said 3 to 4 days that is going to be the max that you don't see the moon at night. So you can get, so if you're trying to change, you want to change, you want to make a strong change, right? I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. Always come back to it and just look at it like we said with the moon, where it's a little bit one time, there's a little bit more the next time, and there's a little bit more, and then it goes to a small amount, to a small amount, to a small amount, to not having it at all for a few days, and then start the cycle all over again, right? The moon tells us, because if the moon wasn't consistent, and not even being consistent, meaning that it is up there every day, because it changes, right? And once it's a new moon, you can barely see it, if all. Like, I don't even notice it and don't even see it, right? But because we see pieces, we see it waxing and waning, it reminds us that, hey, we have a moon, right? So that night sky, but we look at those different stars. Now, the stars, depending on the time of the year and where you are, the night sky doesn't look the same all the time. And clouds and different other gases may be in the way. You can't even see them. The lights, right? Different lights, depending on where you live. So having that cycle of consistency, it's not even being there every day, but just keeping it in the presence, right? So when we're talking about this, I'm in the season of giving. All right, well, we just found out that, okay, all right, maybe we was waning, and then we was going into that new moon phase, and I kind of forgot about it. But then it's like, boom, yo, you spending, right? So that's a lesson. We another one I can remember. Another lesson learned was my Street Fighter days, my Street Fighter 2 days, and this was a lesson about becoming good at something, at anything. Like I understood what it took. Now, in the moment, I wasn't thinking like, yo, I want to be good at this. This is what I need to do. But after the journey, I could look at it and say, like, yo, this is what you do to get good. So that moment would have happened when I used it intentionally, would have been in college. So I got good at Street Fighter as a kid, but but the things that I used to get good at Street Fighter, I didn't think as a kid that I'm going to apply this to math. I'm going to apply this to reading. I'm going to apply this to science. I didn't think like that. But once I got to college and I kind of sat back and I said to myself, like, okay, I was the best Street Fighter player on the East Coast. Now, what did I do to get there? Right? What did I do to get there? And besides obsession, it was just, look, man, just putting your time in. You got to put your time in, right? So that was a lesson, and I applied it, and it worked for me. Yo, you really gotta put your time in. You gotta apply yourself to something and keep doing it, and just really look. This is how you do it. Get challenged, get that feedback. Lose. You gotta lose and overcome these losses, and keep overcoming losses and creating a wall, creating a box, so that you can predict and force your opponent into the game that you want to play, right? So these are all of the things that I knew. Then I started to apply them in life. Let's see what else. What's another lesson? Another lesson learned. Man, now I can't think. Let's see. Oh yeah, people are emotional. Now, when I say people are emotional, then that means that I too can be emotional. So I have to get control of that. This reminds me of that guy. Like I said, I want to say his name was Zeke, but I don't think his name was Zeke, right? It was probably something else. I just can't remember what his name was, but I remember, we're talking, we're getting ready for next semester. It's like, yeah, all right, we're going to be roommates. We're compatible, right? We like some of the things. Yeah, we're going to tell, whoever, and we're going to be roommates, right? And we're walking to the gas station. And he says something along the lines of just where he's from, and I totally denounced, right? And I'm sure I said it in a real offensive way. Like, that's something that's consistent with me. I can offend people, and it's not that I'm not trying to offend people, but I can be very offensive. And even now, while working on my second job, I try to be aware of what I'm saying because I can offend people. So that's a lesson learned in itself, is that I can be very offensive and offend people in what they believe and what they think. So I try not to do that. Like, I try to intentionally think about when I'm speaking with someone that's fairly new, or someone that's not really a close friend of mine, I'm always filtering or trying to filter what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. Even on this podcast, like, you guys get, I would say probably maybe 75% Bo, because it's not that I don't want to be canceled, because I don't have anything. Like, it's not that. So I'm not going to be canceled because I don't have nothing, right? It's not like, man, I only have a few fans. I only have a few listeners. So I mean, it's not doing anything, right? YouTube, the Artistry of YouTube page, I just looked, in the last 25 days, I haven't had one listener. So it shows 0, right? It shows 0. So, I can't lose anything because I don't have anything to lose. So that's not why I would say you guys are getting 70% or 75%, but just, I can be very offensive. So I got to think of that, right? Now, while I'm walking, and like I said, we're going to the gas station, and he said something, and I guess I just kind of laughed off his experiences in life, and he got really offended, right? So that's 2 lessons learned from just that one incident. It's, look, you can offend people. You got to watch what you say. You have to, you can't just discount someone's experience just because you, it's like an entitlement. And it's not that, oh, I'm rich, but I think that I'm entitled. My entitlement would be me growing up in the way that I grew up. Like, I just grew up in hell. Like, I'm at the bottom of the bottom. So that's my entitlement. My entitlement is you didn't grow up tough. You didn't grow up hard. You didn't grow up with any real storms, right? The snowstorms that you guys have gone through in your life is nothing, right? We've been buried 30 feet in the snow, okay, and life still goes on, right? So like that's been my thinking, but that's not right, because each experience that a person feels, even if it's they're afraid of ants and like 4 or 5 ants crawled on them and they couldn't find them, but they knew that they was on them and they was just like stripping their clothes off. Like, that is a valid experience. And if whatever that experience did to you, like, that's valid. I can't just be like, oh man, that's nothing, man. Get out of here. And that's how I was, right? So that was a lesson learned. Like, yo, you can't be like that. You can't be like that. And people are emotional in the sense that, like, yo, if you never know what you can say to someone and it just sets them off, and then they just become, defensive, and now they don't even like you no more, right? And it's just it's over now. You just don't even talk, because I can say that, like, after that point, I didn't even talk to him no more, and it didn't matter, right? It didn't matter, because it's like, yo, all right. I mean, I didn't talk to you 2 weeks ago, so like, yo. So if I ain't talking to you now, I mean, whatever, right? But we're building a track record. We're building this, just offending people and not being aware of it. So now we're just doing it and doing it and doing it well, doing it and doing it and doing it well. Go Brooklyn, right? So I had to understand that, and I had to realize that in myself. So I understand it. So if you guys ever meet me in person, I'm going to be very careful about what I say, because I'm not trying to put down your experience, right? And that's really when I say censor and monitor myself, like, I'm not trying to discredit or put down a person's experience. Now, if I believe, like, whatever I believe on Kanye, or however I feel about the guy who killed Takeoff, like, or Charleston White, or anybody, that whatever I feel, okay, I'm going to say it. But if it comes down to me putting down your experience and making your experience less than mine, I'm going to check that. No, because that's not right. Like, that's not truth. Your truth is your truth. I can't discredit that. Right. So that's something I learned, with him. And I remember eventually, like maybe later on, and my ex-wife, like, she even brought that up. She was like, I don't know if she was saying like, hey, you're an asshole because Zeke told me what happened between y'all. And I'm like, man, what happened? Like, yo, come on, I wasn't even thinking of that nigga, like, this whole time, like, so she was just sitting on it, just waiting to be like, Zeke told me, he told me that you discredited him or whatever, right? So that's that, but that's a lesson learned. What's another one we got? I don't know. I think that's good. Okay, we got about 50, almost an hour. We got a couple lessons. We got if you're gonna do something, don't wait till tomorrow. Do it now. So that was from Dr. Ngenge. We got the buy-in season lesson, right? Be aware that if you're constantly buying something, like, be aware of that. So, and ask yourself, okay, am I self-medicating with my spending? All right. So that was a lesson that we just got on our own. We got the Street Fighter lesson where, be obsessed and lose and overcome losses, right? That's how you can put yourself in a position to become better at no matter what it is that you do. Because one of the things, like I think it was maybe Benjamin Franklin, he wanted to be a great chess player. But his writing, he became a great writer because he studied his losses, right? He studied, okay, this is how the greats write, and he mimicked it, and then he tried to rewrite some of those passages, but and that worked for him. But in my case with Street Fighter, like I didn't really go over my losses in my head because this is before recording. This is the arcade days. So what I did, I guess, maybe I adapted to those losses, right? Because I caught losses, but I played. So I just used the computer. I used the computer to so I set goals and I used the computer to complete those goals. So I said, like, yo, I'm gonna just beat the whole game using nothing but normals, right? Or so that was one, and then just learning different patterns, right? Learning different patterns. So that's how I became, good. I didn't like look at what the other great players were doing because I didn't have any great players. We had some good players, but as far as I could say, like, yo, that I was losing to all the time, and I'm just kind of like I am that for a lot of these guys, even the Street Fighters now, like even people playing Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6, like all up and down the East Coast, And the thing is, like, this is before the internet. So it's just like, yo, there's a guy. I was that guy. Like, yo, man, there's a guy, who, like, yo, he came in. He's from Baltimore. Like, yo, man, this kid is vicious, right? So, everybody always hears about that guy. Like, yo, I was that guy. So I didn't have anyone to where I was like following, and looking up to. And I think that even says a lot, not in a boastful way, but it says a lot if that is you, if you're in a vacuum, right? How to get good in a vacuum. Can you get good in a vacuum? And I believe so. And that's what I did, right? That's what I did. And so we got the Street Fighter lesson. I applied it in school and in life. And then we got the I can be offensive. The things that I say can be offensive and turn people off. And people can be real emotional, right? So don't be so emotional when you hear something that you don't agree with, that's not really in tune with your belief of yourself. Don't just fly off the handle, right? So these are lessons that I learned and that I'm sharing with you guys. So like I said, we had 2 projects up. We have the Cora B Latin Spanish album that's out right now on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. I like Amazon. Like, if you just want to listen to the music, then Amazon or Pandora, because you can just type in Bo Miles in there and you can listen to the whole album just from beginning to end with no interruptions. And I believe you can do that with Apple, but Spotify, you listen to it a little bit and then they'll like add some other stuff to it. And, maybe you'll hear a song from one of my other songs from another album. And then you'll hear one of Steve Lacy songs. You might hear one of Riri's songs. So that's the thing with Spotify, which, I get it because they're trying to, I guess, keep you on there. I don't know why they do it, but I'm sure they have a reason. So that's how that works. So I have those. I have The Cyber Runner will be up by the time you guys hear this, because this is going to post on the 7th. Cyber Runner is going to drop on the 6th on Spotify, and I think maybe a week later on Apple. So it takes about a week to 2 weeks after, and then it's on Apple. So we have that, and we have the Starfall, which I'm gonna get on to that now. The Starfall album. So we're gonna put that up. That'll probably, you guys will hear it on the next episode. So I'm not gonna worry about those dates. But if you want to just hear some type of chill music, some instrumentals, just wherever you listen to music, just go ahead and type in Bo Miles and pick. I got maybe 3 or 4. 3, yeah. So I have 3 instrumental albums, and then I have a few singles, and then I have my one hip hop album from like 2004, 2005. So that's up there. What do we have moving forward? I'm going to be doing all of my reactions. I'm going to be doing reaction videos and just speaking on current events. I'm going to be doing that on the Artistry of podcast page, right? So like I said, the last 25 days, I have no views on there. I have 5 subscribers, and we're gonna beef it up. Like we're gonna all that we're gonna push to the podcast, right? That's the whole purpose. Is so we're gonna have shorts. We're gonna be talking about current events. And it's all going to be trying to bring more and more listeners over to the podcast, so we can have build our family, and we'll have people who are used to commenting on the videos, and I'm going to be responding. I respond to all of the videos, so we're just going to build a channel, a link between me and you, where it's not just me listening, but a conversation, right? And that's that. So until next week, Reese's PCC.